Sunday confirmed something for me. You remember a couple years ago when the Chiefs went against the Rams? It was Patrick Mahomes against Jared Goff. And it was probably one of the best games we've ever seen. It was like 56 to like 48 or something like that. They were going back and forth. It was one of the best games we've ever seen. And this was at the height of the Rams as they were, as far as you had Jared Goff, Todd Gurley was great. Aaron Donald was a little young. Aaron Donald was a little younger. That was that team. And we were thinking, Jared Goff is having one of the best seasons for the quarterback at the time. I think he was in MVP talks. Of course, he got them to the NBA or the Super Bowl, even though they didn't win. But we were thinking, is this going to be the next great battle? Is this going to be the next great quarterback battle between Jared Goff and Patrick Mahomes? Patrick Mahomes was younger. Jared Goff was younger. And because we look back, right? And the league has always had two quarterbacks that are just above the rest and go head to head. Like in the 80s, it was Joe Montana and John Elway. They would go back and forth, while one was more successful as far as winning championships. Those were clearly the top two quarterbacks, and they would go head to head. In the 90s, Steve Young and Joe Montana. Steve Young, we know who these people are. Joe Montana, they were the top two. I would say probably Steve Young and Brett Favre, but Joe Montana was still Joe Montana, even though he did go to the Chiefs. I'll say Steve Young and Brett Favre. They were going back and forth, back and forth. Jim Kelly was up there, but it was mainly Steve Young and Brett Favre. In the 2000s, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady go back and forth. Many people say Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time. I say Peyton Manning is probably the best regular season quarterback of all time. In the 2000s, early 2000s, 2010s, let's say, in the 2010s, it was Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. We know this. Aaron Rodgers was, even though he does have one champion or one Super Bowl, we know that when we talk about the top two quarterbacks in the 2000s, it goes to Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. So for the 2020s, we're thinking, who is it going to be? We know Patrick Mahomes is going to be up there. Patrick Mahomes is, hell, a lot of people think Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback of all time at this point. Just doesn't have the accolades. When we talk about talent, a lot of people have Patrick Mahomes up there. So you didn't know who was going to be. And I brought up that game because Sunday confirmed something to me. I brought up the Jared Goff and the Rams going up against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs because we thought that could possibly be the next, the next best rivalry in the league as far as quarterbacks. But boy, were we wrong. Jared Goff punk faked the hell out of us. And then we had the game last year. The Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs. Probably one of the best games, if not the best game I've ever seen in my life, especially when we talk about the ending of the game. And then the questions, because Josh Allen had an incredible year last year. Patrick Mahomes had an incredible year last year, even though they both didn't make it to the Super Bowl. They both were pretty much top-tier quarterbacks. Now, yes, we know Aaron Rodgers won the MVP last year, but Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen were right there. So, questions were spiraling again. Is this going to be the next quarterback rivalry? And when I say this, that doesn't take away from the great quarterbacks that we have, like Lamar Jackson, like Justin Herbert, like hell, Tom Brady's still there. Aaron Rodgers, even though he's struggling this year, he's still there. But Sunday confirmed it for me. Now, yes, we will break down all the games that happened on Sunday, but the one that I need to start with is, of course, the Chiefs lost to the Bills 20-24. that the game was a display of top tier quarterback play. There was no doubt. There should have been no doubt in your mind who the two best players were for each team. Now, yes, that should never really be a doubt when we talk about these two. But Patrick Mahomes and what Sunday showed me is that there is those two, Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, and then there's a large gap. No offense to any of the quarterbacks out there, but what we saw, even though it was 24-20, that was by far the best game that was on Sunday. And I that game confirmed to me, at least for the time being, that we have that next quarterback matchup. The quarterback matchup that's going to be that we're going to talk about for years and years to come. Both of them's in the AFC. Both of them are on really good teams. Both of them have championship desires. That is going to be it. Because the game was decided on two mistakes. Well, on one mistake. And that was Patrick Mahomes throwing an interception at the end of the game, which he is not, it doesn't really happen. He threw two interceptions. I think Josh Allen threw one. Josh Allen was throwing bombs to Gabriel Davis, to Stephon Diggs, Dawson Knox. Patrick Mahomes was throwing bombs to Travis Kelce and McCole Harmon and Juju Smith-Schuster. This is it. Now, the thing about it is, it doesn't. A lot of people are going to hear this argument and think, okay, so it must be who's the best quarterback at the time. No. There was a year when Cam Newton was the best quarterback. I don't think he was in any conversation to be in the quarterback rivalry. No offense to Cam Newton. He's a great quarterback. There was a year Matt Ryan was, when he took the Atlanta Falcons to the Super Bowl, there was a year he was the best quarterback in the NFC. Nobody thought that he was going to be the next great quarterback. You see, there are great quarterbacks right now. Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. They're great quarterbacks. But again, there's no way that you can look at what we saw against or with the with the Bills and Chiefs and not think to yourself, okay, so we're watching the two best quarterbacks in the league, and it's not that close. And that's to me, that's going to be the next great rivalry. That's going to be the Steve Young and Brett Favre. That's going to be the Joe Montana and Joe Montana and John Elway. That's going to be the Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, or Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. You see, one's going to be more successful than the other. That's how it happens. I mean, if you look again, Joe Montana is more successful than John Elway. Steve Young is more successful than Brett Favre. Tom Brady is more successful than Peyton Manning and more successful than Aaron Rodgers. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to go back and forth. Colin Cowherd said this. Shouts out to him. And talking about this conversation, I think when it's all said and done, Patrick Mahomes might be more successful. But I think it's going to be neck and neck. This is the first rivalry I can see them going neck and neck. Now, that doesn't mean that the Bills and the Chiefs are going to win a championship every single year. But when you look up, I put money that unless something drastically happens with either team, or one of their best players leaves or something like that, they will be the AFC. Whoever comes out the AFC will either have to see one of these two teams. That's just how. And Sean McDermott and Andy Reid are great coaches. It's going to be a battle for years to come, and Sunday confirmed that for me. Sunday confirmed because I didn't want to prejudge because it does just because it's the best. I needed to see Josh Allen win that game. I need to see Josh Allen win that game because to me it can't be a one-sided affair. That's kind of the reason why I didn't put Lamar Jackson up there because Lamar Jackson hasn't won enough against Patrick Mahomes. I was at the stadium where the Ravens got destroyed by Patrick Mahomes. Now I also remember Lamar Jackson beat them. But Lamar Jackson hasn't won enough against Patrick Mahomes. And while I'm sure Patrick Mahomes probably has a winning record over Josh Allen, this is the best team that Josh Allen has. And again, I needed to see Josh Allen beat Patrick Mahomes in a game where while it was a equally fought game. It was just one or two mistakes that ended the game. One or two mistakes decided this game. I needed to see Josh Allen have to go into Arrowhead, by the way. Go into Arrowhead and face those elements and how he was going to fare. Because if they would have came back, right? If they would have came back and on Sunday the Chiefs would have just destroyed the Bills, then it's like I can't put that because, if Patrick Mahomes continues to beat Josh Allen, that's not really a rivalry. But I think that we have it. I needed to see Josh Allen rise up and win, and he did that. So I think we have the next one, which is I think we have the next great quarterback because. Again, it's 1 and 2. It doesn't matter who you put. You can say Josh Allen's the best quarterback in the league right now. You can say Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. And it's a very wide gap for 3. Very wide. And it doesn't matter who you put at 3. It's a very wide gap.